so absorbed in the conversation that they don't even notice me. Perhaps it's better that way. I'll have time to sit there when I'm old. Is that Tom's underwear hanging out to dry? Nope. Cloths. They aren't particularly clean, but I wouldn't expect anything else from Tom's pub. You know? I'm glad I drank bottled beer last time I was there. The windows have colored plastic stuck on them. It's hard to make out anything. It says 3 kegs, probably of beer. Anyone want to buy an E? That's Tom's pub. I think he's still a bit angry because I left him in the swamp. And stole his car. Tom would like to see me dead. At least that's the last thing he said to me. Tom would like to see me dead. You can hardly make out what used to be written there, but I assume that nothing edible has ever been served here, at least since Tom inherited the pub. You can hardly make out what used to be written there, but I assume that it looks like it hasn't been used for a very long time. I'm about to change that. Murderous greetings from Willow Creek. The usual postcards and brochures. Probably belongs to a fisherman. Looks comfortable, unlike the chairs. Flower vase or coffee cup? Probably both. This is the best seat in the house, with a view of the village square. Unbelievably thrilling. You can watch the moss growing between the paving stones. They look really pathetic, but still better than cheap plastic ones. The sugar's empty. Coffee in all its guises, from mocha to Irish coffee. The list of teas is still twice as long, though. Coffee culture is spreading. Mild beans and double roasted. Is Willow Creek ready for this? Photos of parties here in the cafe. I really didn't think they celebrated anything here in Willow Creek. Kinda weird. Lots of the people in the photos have been murdered. I think the door leads into the storeroom. At least that's what this sign suggests. Now here's something quite different. It's a nice contrast to the rest of medieval Willow Creek. Shame, no donuts left. Shame, no donuts left. At last, a ray of sunshine. I was beginning to think there were only gross-looking guys with alcohol problems living in this dump. Hi,
I know. I recognize you from the newspaper.
And you're not gonna run away screaming?
I'd have a lot of running to do if I ran away from every weirdo in this dump.
You really like living here, huh? Has anything exciting happened recently?
Apart from the fire at the castle? Wait a minute. Yeah, the espresso machine broke down.
Has this cafe been here long? I've never noticed it before.
We were closed during the fair this year.
Is it even worth having a cafe here in the village?
You'll have to ask my dad. It's his cafe. Why do you ask? Do you want to open one too?
Yeah, sure. Right next door. A Black Mere special cafe with ritual blood cappuccino and latte morbidato.
Good idea. Could have come from Murray.
By the way, I'm Darren. Or Adrian Gordon. Take your pick.
I'm Denise, or the one who's got no time for insane arsonists. Take your pick.
Wow. I think I prefer Denise.
All right then, Darren.
So, what's a young woman like you doing in a place like this? Not one for city living?
Hell yeah. I'm just waiting for the right moment.
You mean when the twice-yearly bus to London stops here?
Something like that.
Are you out of donuts?
No, there are some in the storeroom, but they're reserved for the nice inspector. He buys them here every morning.
Of course. And what if I want one too?
Then bake one yourself.
When does the inspector usually come in?
He should have been here to pick up his donuts ages ago. He's probably been delayed by the scum of the earth. Again.
Phew, nice description.
That's what Conrad calls his clientele, not me.
Conrad?
Conrad Spooner. That's what the inspector's called. Didn't you know?
I didn't know that donuts was so popular in England.
I don't know, but I do know that Spooner loves them. Just as much as those cops in American TV shows.
And what does the dear inspector do when there aren't any donuts left?
He always gets what he wants. If need be, I bake him some.
I'd like a coffee, black.
Coming up.
Okay, I've got to come up with something that's gonna make Spooner hang out here in the cafe for a while. A shelf full of stock for the cafe. What have we got here? Coffee, tea, juice, milk. Ah, and a package of donuts. Those have to be the donuts specially reserved for Spooner. A wash bucket filled with, dirty water. A high-performance chest freezer with a glass lid. Not a lot in it. A pack of tart bases. Oh, and a box of ice cream. Mint and chocolate. The seal is in really bad shape. If it gets wet, you probably wouldn't be able to get the chest open anymore. I'll put the box of donuts in a nice visible spot in the freezer. The sponge is dripping now. I don't want to be carrying it around with me for too long. It could get rather unpleasant. I'll wet the ceiling rubbers with the wet sponge. If you close the freezer now, the water will freeze and it'll be almost impossible to open it again without defrosting the whole thing. Farewell, you donuts. Nobody's gonna be getting you out of there in a hurry. Now that ought to slow down the inspector's donut order somewhat. The lid's frozen shut. Now that ought to slow down the inspector's donut order somewhat.
Another one of these flat days today. Could really do with something to lift me up a little.
Edward could come along at any time. Better if we wait till this evening.
Sod Edward. Give me a piece.
Yeah, sure. I'll get you some. Conrad, your donuts seem to have ended up in the freezer.
Yeah? But can't you bung them in the oven for a bit?
The problem is, the lid's frozen solid.
Ah, I get it. You want me to help you warm up your frozen chest?
I think those two are gonna be busy for a while. Can I ask you something briefly?
Hmm?
Do you believe I set fire to the castle?
Well, Mr. Michaels, you claim to be Samuel Gordon's son, and you were at the scene of the crime with a smoldering torch in your hand.
I had that to defend myself with.
Against the mysterious secret order that nobody knows about and nobody's seen?
It's mentioned in the Gordon Chronicles.
500 years ago.
Forget it.
And then there was the thing with poor Miss Valley, right? We found your tracks at the scene of the crime.
I told you, forget it. Spooner, your inspector, is he always so nice?
I don't know. He was in the homicide department in London until half a year ago. Then, he got redeployed here as a punishment.
That explains a lot.
Since then, he's tried everything to get back out of here. He locks people up for the smallest of misdemeanors. Good for the statistics, you see.
And you can't do anything about it?
What does a bear do about the winter? He rows himself up and sleeps until the spring comes.
How long are you gonna look for Angelina?
She'll be deemed missing until we find her.
Even if she's long since dead?
We haven't found a body yet, Mr. Michaels.
How involved were you in the investigation of my case?
I searched the sewer system and the bunker.
And you didn't find any clues?
No.
That just can't be true.
It's bloody dark down there, Mr. Michaels, and full of rats. Not for the faint-hearted.
Is there anything new on the kidnapping? Have you spoken to Tom, Bobby, or the kid in Wales?
According to the statement, Tom was at Alton Towers with Bobby at the time.
And you don't find it a little bit strange that those two went to a theme park?
The only strange thing was that Bobby was in hospital for 2 days afterwards with concussion. But we've got a medical certificate that proves that.
And what if Tom was lying?
We can't prove it. He had 2 tickets for the theme park and the paperwork from the hospital.
Damn. And the boy?
There's no one called Van Helsing in Wales.
Can you make a copy of my file and send it to my lawyer?
Didn't he get one ages ago?
He, wants to have the current version for the embassy.
Not possible.
Something wrong?
I'd forgotten. The copier gave up the ghost a few weeks back, but there's a new one on order.
Are you being serious?
It's not so bad. I have so little to do here, I could type up most of the documents.
I understand. So, would you be so kind as to type my file?
No.
And what if I fix that thing?
All right then, you go and see what you can do with it.
Goodbye, Constable. It can't be that difficult to fix a copier. I studied it once. Well, kind of. What if we got here? The fuse has blown. Switch to turn it on, and you press the green button to copy. If I twist and connect the wires that work, it should be able to copy again. That should do it. Can I ask you something briefly? The copier's working again. Now can you copy my file?
Sure, then I'll send the copy to your lawyer. The copy of your file?
Then I can send it myself.
The inspector insists that no files can leave the building without authorization.
I see. Damn. Constable? When does the mail go? My lawyer needs the file as soon as possible.
I'll post it later on. It ought to be collected this afternoon.
Thanks. Goodbye, Constable. An access point to the sewer system. Brings back memories that I'd rather forget. The board is just the right size. It'll go straight on top of the mailbag, so that when the constable posts a letter, I can easily pull it out again. It worked. Let's see what's in here. Friday afternoon, 12:30. Oh, they must have discovered the body then. The time of death for Miss Valley was the previous evening, Thursday, between 10 and midnight. Cause of death, burned alive after a blow to the back of the head. Grim. Witness interviews. Let's see. Not important. Saw nothing. It continues. Friday, 1837. Emergency services called out. At that time, I was in the ruins of the old academy with Angelina, Lewis, and my mother. Then, Saturday, 12:06 a.m. Fire under control. At that time, I was running from the ruins in the direction of the castle. 3 bodies were retrieved. Lady Eleanor Gordon, Edward Bartholomew Bates, the butler, and Sally Wood, the cook. 1 survivor, Lady Victoria Gordon, suffering from severe smoke inhalation. Also on Saturday morning, 12:12 a.m., Darren Michaels arrested on suspicion of arson and murder of Miss Valley. Witness interviews on the subject unproductive, and Lady Victoria Gordon could not as yet be questioned. She remains in shock. After a 2-week period of hospitalization, was discharged of her own wishes to continue medical supervision at home. Hey, it says here that Murray can't remember having seen me in the hotel on Thursday evening. That can't be right. That was exactly when he threw me out of the hotel. Oh, the rat was lying. Just wait. Evidence still insufficient to charge, but strongly suspected of crime. Current state of the investigation. Darren Michaels' conduct, as well as his contradictory testimony, is currently being examined for plausibility by the psychiatric expert, Dr. Joyce Winterbottom. Here's a note to Constable Zach. If he's diagnosed as nuts, will he have to be remanded in a loony bin? Possible murder weapon, a torch, still smoldering, which was in Darren Michaels' possession when apprehended. He is undergoing forensic examination. Deportation to USA not possible. Release of the suspect on bail on direction of the court. Dr. Winterbottom authorized as prime supervisory agent and point of referral. Good, then I've got 2 new goals already. Visit Victoria and see how she's doing, and let Murray know what I think. I'll write in the file so I don't forget. There are enough empty pages. I can stash the remains of my diary away with it as well. Up there is Dr. Joyce Winterbottom's practice. It's very cozy.
Yes?
Hello, Doctor? Can I ask you a quick question?
Of course. Come on up.
I wonder if the record of our discussions will end up in there. I wonder if the record of our... You could hardly call this straggle of flowers a bouquet. Dr. Winterbottom's notebook. Probably very revealing. At some point she'll be able to write her memoirs with it. Dr. Winterbottom's lighter. Quite an expensive one. I guess it was a present. My adoptive mother had a lamp like that. I always had fun hiding in it when I was a kid. A Newton's cradle. The ball passes on its momentum to the next one, which passes it on to the next until it reaches the last one, which can't pass it on any further and is kicked into the air. A simple example of kinetic energy, but its only use is to work this toy. A Native American dream catcher. It's supposed to protect you from nightmares. Doctor?
What's troubling you, Adrian?
Do you believe me?
Darren, Adrian, we've gone through this so many times before. Of course I believe you.
Then why am I still on the hit list?
I'm a doctor, not a judge. By the way, they rejected the assessment of your not being of sound mind.
Rejected? But what about the awful nightmares?
That kind of reaction is only normal, Adrian. If somebody suddenly revealed to me that I was descended from a long line of bloodthirsty murderers, I'd have nightmares too.
How come you ended up here in the first place?
A colleague of mine I'd known from my student days. A doctor. Heinz Hermann. Once worked here in the sanatorium. He was a friend of the Gordons. Then, 12 years ago, those dreadful murders took place. Heinz was one of the victims. I came here to give his family and the others a little spiritual support, and I'm still here. That's just how life goes sometimes.
Is it true that Spooner was sent here as a punishment?
Yes, I've heard that too.
What did he do then?
As far as I know, he overstepped his authority back in London, and that led to some guilty people getting off. Or maybe the other way round. However, I'm not exactly right in the picture with all this.
Oh, great. A bad-natured investigator who can't tell the difference between guilty and innocent. I couldn't have come up against a better guy. Get this. I've been released on bail.
Well, that's a good reason to celebrate.
I'm not quite so sure. The bail was paid anonymously. You know anything about that by any chance?
Anonymously? No. Who'd do something like that?
No idea. To be honest, I'd hoped you were behind it. You like living in Willow Creek?
Yes, I like the life and the people. It's like time stood still here.
And every few years, along comes some psycho and murders half a dozen locals.
Yes, well, compared to the murder statistics in London, it's a proper holiday here.
Do you see me as being an arsonist?
Judging by your nightmares, you do at least seem to have a violence-orientated imagination.
Yeah, but Stephen King has that too.
As far as I'm aware, he has never been under suspicion of an arson attack resulting in 3 dead.
Whose side are you actually on?
On your side, Adrian.
Good. I swear to you that I've only ever told you the truth.
There are as many truths as there are people, Adrian, and we still have to find yours.
I had a strange experience earlier. It was just like one of my nightmares, but this time I was awake. It was in the police station, just as I was wanting to pick up my stuff. I suddenly found I had awesome strength. I dragged the guy to me through the bars and rammed my pencil into his eye. Wham! Then it was all over. It was just so real. Scary.
You don't say.
Oh, great. So I'm cursed and possessed.
I was talking to a colleague about you the other day. She's how shall I put it? She understands alternative therapies.
What's that all about then? Drugs? Electric shock? Voodoo?
Hypnosis.
You're not serious.
It would at least be a possible way of finding out more.
Well, for my part, as long as you don't saw open the top of my skull. These sessions, how long are they supposed to continue for?
What do you mean?
Well, I've been coming here every day for the past 3 weeks, but I'm still having nightmares every night, and the assessment says I'm 100% fit.
We ought to try hypnosis.
And what's that supposed to do? You want to join in on my nightmares?
Let's just try it tomorrow. If we can get to your roots, then perhaps we'll understand what your dreams are trying to tell us.
Boo! That's what they want to tell us. The dreams, I mean. Well, okay then, Doc. If you think that this might help me in some way. Catch you later.
Take care.
Willow Creek's Museum of Local History. A valuable hoard of English cultural history. There's a poster hanging here. We're rebuilding for you. Soon will be even more spectacular. Experience the horror up close and personal. Reopening on the 1st of December. Huh, that's in a few days' time. There's a poster hanging here. Then let's see what Murray's got to say in his defense. Definitely not drinking water. Wasting water like that wouldn't really be Murray's style. I guess it's rainwater that's pumped up again and again. Definitely not drinking water. Murray stating his patriotism. The old phony. Gordon's Palace. I wonder if Murray even has the right to use that name. There are a few steps leading down behind the hotel. To the river, I reckon. There are a few steps leading down behind.
Mr. Michaels! Welcome back to Gordon's Palace. We missed you here.
How's that? The last time we saw each other was Thursday, 3 weeks ago, when you threw me out of the hotel.
Thrown out of the hotel? How did that happen then?
The thing with the sewers, the secret entrance in Angelina's room. That ring any bells?
Really? Oh yes, there was something. Ah, well, please excuse me. I did overreact a little. I hope you're not going to bear a grudge, though, Mr. Michaels. I'm very happy to make things up with you. You'll also understand that I couldn't hold your reservation for such a long period. Unfortunately, your room is occupied at the moment. But you can have another, a bigger, nicer one, for a small price, really. And for such a room, a ridiculously tiny price.
So you've remembered then? Very good. Then please go right back to the police and tell them that you know exactly where I was on the evening that Miss Valley was murdered.
Was that the same day? Are you sure? Now, it may well have been. I don't pay much attention to that kind of thing. Why should I? It's really nothing to do with me.
You two-faced snake! I insist you march down to the inspector and tell him you want to change your statement.
Mr. Michaels, you're free. I don't understand your problem.
I'm only out on bail.
Oh, my congratulations. Oh, I'm sure that wasn't cheap. However, in spite of that, I still don't see why I should get involved with things that don't concern me.
You can't be serious. Thanks to you, I've just spent the past 3 weeks sitting in a cell as an innocent man.
Mr. Michaels, I really am extremely sorry, but I can't fulfill your request. My own credibility would be on the line if I were to simply change my mind. Unless...
Unless what? Come on, spit it out and quit playing around, you pathetic little blackmailer. Otherwise, I promise you that the murder series will continue. Here and now.
No. Admittedly, I'd be the last one who's standing in your way. But a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do, isn't that so? All the same, I would like a photo of you. Nothing sensational. Maybe somewhere in the woods with a knife in your hand.
So they can send me straight into the madhouse. No way.
Okay, think about it. A watertight alibi for a tiny little amusing photo. It's not a bad exchange.
You are one nasty dirtbag, Murray. You know that?
I'll even give you a camera to take it with. My best one.
Yeah. Does it still work using a lever?
It's a collector's piece. One of the first instant film cameras on the European market. An SX-70. And still in great condition, too. 15 years ago, a very well-groomed gentleman handed it over to me as a deposit in my pawn shop. He never picked it up again. So, you can say that I obtained it quite legitimately. And now, I entrust you with it. Pay attention, I'll tell you how it works.
That's okay. I'll work it out. If I choose to use it.
But that's not all. I've got another present for you. Here, a brand new rucksack. And free food and lodgings for as long as you wish, Mr. Michaels. Accept it as a peace offering and reparations for the trouble with the statement.
You really are a few cards short of a full deck.
Mr. Michaels, wait!
What do you want now?
Forget the woods. In front of the castle would definitely have much more impact. The photo, I mean.
And people think I'm crazy.